what my books have meant to me. I think that most people at one stage of their lives thinks about either writing their memoirs or at least recording something about their lives. And I think that some people keep diaries for that exact reason, even if they didn't necessarily want to share everything with the public or with other people. I think that they feel that they want to put things on paper. And I first got approached to put together some technical books, and I was so proud to have that opportunity, even at a young age, because of my technical ability. And looking back to those early days, I realized that it was all about showing my tricks and my moves that were working for me in competition at that particular time. And it's a little like at any time when champions of the day teach their tricks, even when they're doing seminars, showing their incredible skills. But in the early days, of course, not really knowing how they do it, or most importantly, how to teach how they do it. And it was the same with my early books and my early days. There are lots of nice pictures and moves, but lacking the substance of the technique and how to make them work or why it worked. And this is where video nowadays are so much better. With movies, you can show the why, the how, and the when. But with still pictures, it just captures that one moment of a technique, but it doesn't show how to get there or how to adapt if your opponent moves or defends. And I would definitely change the format now with better quality picture sequences. I would show sequences, no one individual photograph. And certainly if I was to write more books, I would make them more descriptive with the explanations. And like I say, the sequences of the photographs means more if you can see the process. And it was 23 when I was approached to write the first of my autobiographies, A Life in Judo. And that was with a ghostwriter, of course. Nicholas Soames, good friend of mine and an established journalist, did an amazing job of writing about the first part of my life, and the early part, you could say. It was all about my early relationships and how I became world champion. And of course, it was the very brash, confident, young Neil Adams that comes across in the way it was written by Nicholas. And I think he did a great job to capture that confidence and some might say cocky persona of the young me, and many of the early obstacles that I had to conquer. And I'm talking about financial and relationship wise. And I've stated on a few occasions that I wasn't too enamored when I listen to it now, or when I read about it now, about the way I came across in the book. Nothing to do with Nicholas's writing, just a young me trying to make my mark. And I'm not mad keen about the younger me, but as many people have told me since, being self-centered and a little bit selfish is what makes us successful at the time. And I like to think that I'm a nicer person now than I was then, and a bit more experienced, of course. But more technical books followed, and I remember thinking that it was important for me to write and collate some of the books rather than getting a ghostwriter. And actually, I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I was really pleased with a guide to better judo, which was part of a series. They had a guide to better basketball, a guide to better athletics, and it was a series of books that was you had to write in a certain way, and they were explanations. They were books with a little bit of everything in them, and I felt that it was a book that people needed. And it had stories, it had technical analysis, training tips, coaching tips, and I think that it dealt with how the how and the when. And I think that it was a good project for me to undertake. And I learned so much from writing that. But strangely enough, the most difficult book for me to write was a children's book aimed at 8 to 12 years of age. And that age group, saying 8 to 12, is very important here, because it was the first time that I'd ever had my text sent back to me for readjustment. And the reason was that I wasn't writing it for the specified age group. And again, this was a series of books that was written for that particular age group. And if it wasn't written for the 8 to 12s, if it was written a little bit younger or a little bit older, if it was too complex for children's viewing, then you had to make the changes. And so I had to make changes, readjust the text and write it in a certain way. And so great. And again, great experience to have to do that and have to make the readjustments. Videos seem to have taken over, don't they, from books. And of course, there are still lots of books being brought out. I'm looking back now, I'm just looking at the Olympic Judo Preparation Training, which was part of a trilogy of books, which was written 35 years ago and was way ahead of its time. Probably it needs bringing up to date now, because I think that it would, well, it's still being used as a reference book in universities, and I think that it would be a great one to bring up to date. Maybe my next project, who knows. My last book, or my latest book, A Game of Throws, and yes, the name was carefully thought about when we were trying to think of a name, and well, I thought it was a great name. We all thought it was a great name. And this book has been very therapeutic for me and has laid a lot of ghosts to rest. It's an autobiography of my last 35 years. It's what I would call a proper autobiography, and a little bit about life after competition and my highs and my lows that have affected my life. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster, I can tell you. And I think that facing it head on with some of the problems that I had, some of the problems that took me down, helped me to address the problems and to make adjustments in my life. And I also realized that no matter how down you are, it is possible to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and to make your life work, because you're in charge of it. Nobody else is. And you know what they say, it's only the end of the road if you fail to take the bend. And I love that expression, my favorite expression. And it's absolutely true. You've got to be able to bend with it. And I've watched my life change every 10 years. And certainly it's never been better than it is at the moment. And I've always had great family support, but I've got this amazing family behind me, and I'm so thankful for my highs and my lows, because I think it's made me realize who I am today. My writing hand definitely twitching again. Watch out for the next project, because I can feel it coming, and who knows, it might be that Olympic Judo Preparation Training one. Just keep a lookout for it. I'm looking forward to the next projects, and certainly I'm going to go into it with my eyes wide open, and I'm going to look forward to the next 35 years. Thank you for listening to my Throwback Thursday. If you want a personalised copy of this particular book, then go to neiladamsjudo.com and I will make sure that I sign it personally. If you go to Amazon, it's available on Amazon as well, and also the Kindle version. And if you want the audio version, it's available at most of your favourite audio sites.